What is up, you guys? This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Assassin's Creed Odyssey video. And with this video, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and review for the first DLC that had just been released for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And they are in different episodes, so there are 3 episodes for this one DLC, and this episode was called The Hunt. And with The Hunt, you're going to be meeting Darius and his son, and then you're also going to be meeting a lot of the Persians, or I guess, quote, Persian Empire, army, whatever, and they're going to be called the Order. So with the Order, they are kind of like the cultists in a way, but Persian, and you're going to be hunting the guy named the Huntsman. And honestly, I think this whole DLC in general was a little underwhelming. It was pretty underwhelming. A lot of stuff that I was hoping would have happened didn't happen. For example, the experience bar never changed. Mythical bosses were not released, and just a few issues in general. But we're just gonna go ahead and talk about the DLC first. So the DLC, when you meet Darius, it's a pretty epic cutscene or intro when you do meet him, and honestly, that's probably the only time you actually see Darius, other than having to go back to him to turn a mission in or talk to him about a mission or whatever. You generally see his son more often, and what I thought was very disappointing and I thought was a very missed opportunity was the fact that they didn't make use of using Darius in combat or as like going back in time in his memory to play as him. I think that would have been very interesting because he does talk about his past, and you do see cutscenes of his past when he was younger. I think that would have been really well put if you were allowed to play as him in that scenario. Kind of like how you get to play as Leonidas back in the War of 300 when in the intro of the Odyssey. I think being able to play as Darius would have been really awesome. And not just that, but I think it would have been even better to have him fight alongside you at the certain forts that you guys had, or that you had to go and take out, or just in general, just being there with you to help you fight and stuff. It would have been pretty cool, because overall he's not with you throughout the whole thing. And I think what would have been pretty interesting, because a lot of the missions, or a few of the missions, there's not a lot of missions, there's like 2 stealth missions. I think those stealth missions would have been better if they actually had some type of consequence if you got caught. Because it's not that you had to go in stealthy, you can go in guns blazing with your bow or your sword if you're a warrior build, and you didn't have to go in quiet with the stealth build, but he recommended going quietly. I think it would have been better if you had some type of consequence. For example, let's say the Order had someone captured, and if they were alarmed that you were there, then they would execute the people they have captured. And if you were in stealth, then it would be a lot harder for them to execute, because you'd be going in like invisible, like a ninja or an assassin, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I think the missions could have been a little bit better, and yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think they should have definitely had Darius put in the game a little bit more than what they did, because the only time you really see him is the intro and kind of the ending. And then for the legendary gear that you get, which is pretty neat. So right here, what is it called? The legendary perk is really nice. You get 40% damage whenever time is slowed. That's really awesome. The only problem with all of the legendary gears for this set, the second engrave is stuck at the first dot, or tier 1, whichever one you want to call it, tier 1 or first dot, first star. It doesn't give you multiple stars. It doesn't even give you 5 stars. I don't know if it's just me or if it's other people as well, but for all of the pieces that I have gotten, all has the 1 star. And I honestly, like, every single one of these are actually really good. It's just the fact that they only get the 1 star is what kills it. And I think that could be a really good set. Now, for the legendary weapons you get 2 of them. You get the Pride of the Lion, and then you also get Edge of Time. And honestly, Edge of Time is a really good weapon if you can parry, because for me, it's not a good weapon in my opinion for myself because I never parry and I'm not good at parrying. But for anyone that's really good at parrying, this weapon is hands down one of the best. At least the engrave itself is really good because of the fact that you can reduce your cooldown by 10%, letting you basically have the Battle Cry of Ares back really quick. You can get Battle Cry of Ares back like in 10 seconds pretty much after it's been used. And then Pride of the Lion is only good if you're going to use Rush Assassination, or I only used it for my trophy because you have to, I think it's you have to chain to 5 enemies. So with this weapon, it lets you have one more Rush Assassinate ability chain, which is pretty good. I think it would have been nice to have a little more options with the legendary gear and legendary weapons with this DLC, like possibly 3 different sets, having a warrior, hunter, and a assassin tree, as well as having a bow. And then these 2 weapons are fine, except it would have been nice if like maybe the sword was, I mean, I guess it makes sense because this Darius is an assassin and it's kind of like an assassin DLC. But I think it would have been pretty interesting to have different stats as well, not rather than just one specific stat, but or at least having a bow would have been fine. You don't need a warrior weapon, but I think also 3 legendary gear sets would have been really good as well. And then for the abilities, this ability itself I don't think is that great because I don't care. In my opinion, I really don't care if the enemies detect the dead enemy because I'm not going to be near that dead enemy anymore. But I think what would have been really cool with the Death Veil is if it worked the same way that it did on Origins, where when you killed an enemy, you can poison them, and then any enemy that goes near that body, they get poisoned. I think that would have been perfect with Death Veil. It kind of makes sense because poison is I guess like a death type of perk or so. Either that or fire. You can turn the enemies on fire or something. But or poison. I think poison would have been the best suit for this. With Death Veil, you assassinate an enemy, and then they're poisoned, and they spread a disease to nearby enemies that come in contact with it, or just get within a certain radius. They also become poisoned. That would have been really awesome, and I think that would have made me want to get this. The only reason why I'm using Death Veil is so I can get my trophy. I already got my trophy, but I don't feel like respecing at the moment. And that was pretty much it with the abilities and weapons and everything. But yeah, I think with this DLC alone, I would honestly not rate it high at all. This DLC was definitely underwhelming. I'm hoping the next DLC we will get to see we'll get to see Darius more in action, because I mean, even in the cutscenes, it would be awesome to see him in action. Kind of like in the cutscene when you got to meet I forgot his name, but the Spartan dude that looked like Leonidas. Like that type of cutscene. That one got me pretty hyped. It would be awesome if you could see Darius in action in that type of way, or just going around assassinating enemies, or being able to play as Darius for a short amount of time, or just fighting alongside him. Something, because Ubisoft introduced Darius as this really epic character and bring him to life from, just from history and all that, bringing him to life in the game, but not utilizing him. Like I said, this is only the first episode, so maybe we'll see him do more in the second or the last episode. And before I forget, you are also going to see the Macedonian lion up here at Mount Athos, right over here. So let me load up my map. So right over here, all the way down south of Macedonia. So once you get over here, you're going to see this lion. What I would highly recommend is to tame it. Don't kill it, tame it, so that way you can have it fighting by your side. And if you don't want to have that tame ability anymore, after you've tamed it, it'll still count towards your trophies of killing the lion. And then you can let it go back to the mountain after you untame it, so you can still come back and get it whenever you want. So I really like this lion. It's really cool. It's a cool looking animal too. But yeah, that's basically it with this video. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comments. And if you have any thoughts on this DLC as well, what you liked about it, what you disliked. And I'm not saying I disliked the DLC. I thought it was pretty interesting. The story itself was not that bad. It wasn't anywhere as good as the Odyssey storyline or the Atlantis. Or I mean, the Atlantis is a little confusing, but the Odyssey and the Cultist one I thought was really, really good. I would like to see how it's gonna play out, obviously, with the rest of the episodes. But with this one, it was a little underwhelming, like I said, but it's not a bad one. What I would highly recommend for those of you that don't have the season pass is to just possibly wait for all 3 episodes to come out, because it took me about 2 hours, just 2 hours, or maybe a little less, to complete the whole storyline. And I wasn't even rushing through it either. I was just playing it normally, and I was also playing on Nightmare, so the enemies are a little harder. But you know, it took me about 2 hours just to complete the main story, and then it took me about another 2 hours to complete the rest of the side quests and bounties and whatnot. So right over here you can also have the cultist, not cultist, but the order. It's like the cultist, but it's the order of ancients right over here. And I mean, this is all you're getting, and they're not hard to get at all. You'll generally find every single one of them in the story or the side quests, and they're really quick and easy. But that's honestly really it with this video. If this helped you out at all, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.